But yeah, in other news, everyone, it seems, has been, not everyone, I don't know, I want to say everyone, but many people have been either revisiting or newly discovering Kendrick Lamar's music since, everything went down this past month.
Yeah, it's been something crazy to see, considering I came in here. I don't know if we said it on air, but I remember telling you a few months ago how like I just went on Twitter and just everyone was like, Kendrick Lamar is the most overrated rapper ever. And then it's just like the tide has just...
I know, the switch up is crazy.
The switch up is crazy.
We'll talk about Gambino later, but similar situation.
Yeah, but people are checking out his discography for the first time. Mr.Morale, everyone is saying, oh, this album aged so well. Newsflash, the album was always good. It was just... what was in the album was tough for people.
For sure. It's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's very personal. But we bring it up because it's been 2 years, I think yesterday, since the release of Mr.Morale and the Big Steppers.
Ooh, 2 years, baby.
So reflecting on that album after 2 years, it came out the 13th. So yeah, today is 2 years.
I mean, what do you feel like there are any moments or just anything from that album that stood out to you? Or
yeah, I mean, like it's so funny because there's so many highlights on this album, and there's even stuff that we've talked about off camera that are like questionable almost, or like that we've discussed further. So in terms of highlights, I mean, I love like Father Time I saw so many dudes being like, man, this is great. I got daddy issues, like it's so true. And there's an anthem for me out now. Like
I have my daddy's issue anthem on site.
And that song is also like a banger too. So I love that he's able to do both of those. Count Me Out is fun.
That is my favorite song off of that album by far. I play that on repeat.
It's so good. And it's like the stuff he's saying is like, I mean, the video is literally him in therapy, right. It is a therapy session, but then like what I don't know what the word would be, but like the affirmation of like, I love when they count me out.
Yeah.
Kind of stands on its own as like, oh, I love when they like name drop me in, saying it's overrated or whatever. It's my name's still in your mouth, it's like there's still some power in that.
And I love the duality between that and the next track, which is Crown.
Yeah.
Where the mantra for Count Me Out is, I love when they count me out, I love when they count me out. But Crown is, I can't please everybody. I can't please everybody. And that's like, goes to and speaks to kind of the complexity of being in a position like someone like Kendrick Lamar, where it's like, you have all the people who are doubting you, and like you want to use that and feed off of that as fuel. But on the other side, it's like you have so much pressure to like be somebody. And he's talked about that throughout his whole discography, like the pressure of being him, and like him dealing with that, and his, he talks about his savior complex on this album.
And yeah, the whole album is literally just like addressing like, I'm not perfect and I probably won't ever be, and so like, don't, parasocially put me on a pedestal and like, put me as like a hero or anything.
Which is funny because I love the people who talk about Kendrick Lamar and say that he acts like he's higher than everybody. He thinks that he's just the best thing ever. And it's like, I don't even get mad when I see that, because I'm like, so you just didn't listen to any of his albums.
Literally.
It's like, all right, I'm not going to get mad at you. You literally don't know what you're talking about. So it's all good.
One part that I love on Count Me Out is like how I was talking about like the duality of like, you can turn up because it's like, fuck it up, fucking it up. And then it like turns up a little bit. I love when they count me out. But then there's the part when he's doing the verse, the backing track or the backing vocals is tripping and falling. It's like super.
And I'm tripping and falling.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good, and it's like heartbreaking too. Yeah. And that with kind of reminds me of on Damn when he says maybe I wasn't there. What song is that? Maybe I wasn't there.
Oh yeah.
So also
Pride.
Yeah, just heartbreaking backing vocals.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's incredible. And then the part that like, I don't know,
the questionable
parts we've talked about off camera, but I don't know if it's aged well or what, but a lot of people take issue with Kodak Black's inclusion on this album.
Right.
And I mean, I don't listen to Kodak. I don't think he's a great dude either. You know, I don't think he's went to jail for assault or I don't know exactly what it was. I think he for a few different things. But I think there was a point trying to be made with his inclusion, and I don't know if it was successful because it didn't land for a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like, I understand what the point is.
Right.
But because it's not clear, I don't know if it's a successful.
Right.
You know.
I think for me where it falls short, and I can just long story short, Kodak is included in the album as a representation of the side of Kendrick saying that, like, I grew up in these circumstances, and so this is what leads me to have my flaws, leads me to have my, like, this is why my character is the way that it is. And Kodak is kind of a representation and embodiment of that. So it kind of, he goes into, especially on, I think it's, what's the interlude called?
Is it Rich?
Yes, it's Rich interlude.
Yeah.
Where he like goes into like his upbringing, like we were poor, made it out the hood, basically like the come up story. The issue that I personally have with his inclusion is that you have like I feel like you can't have like it's like Kendrick tried to have him represent like coming to terms with being a flawed person, but you can't have the redemption without the recognition of your flaws and faults.
Yeah.
And I understand why he was included in the album, and I do get it, but I feel like the point kind of fails or like doesn't land because there's no accountability for like specifically Kodak. If you're gonna put him in the album as much as you did, he put him on Rich interlude, he put him on Silent Hill, he put him throughout the album as like, little speaking parts, it's like,
he has the interlude where he speaks, and then Silent Hill is the only verse he has.
The only verse
but then he's in there like just saying his name at the beginning of
Kodak Black.
Is that Worldwide Steppers?
Worldwide Steppers.
Okay Llama.
Yeah.
Ackhart something.
Ackhart Toilet.
Yeah.
And this here the Big Stepper.
That song is great.
Song is insane.
That song is actually
that song
nuts.
is bonkers, bro. I was listening to I listened to this album for the first time with my friend Tim. Shout out to Tim. And like I couldn't really hear the shout out to Discord also. I couldn't really hear the sound of the album that well because like we were like screen sharing or whatever, and it was kind of like we were okay, but yeah. But when that song came on, that was the third song. When that song came on, I was like, am I tripping right now? Like, what is happening? Like, I'm like, this is like literally the craziest thing I've ever heard. And Kendrick does that on his albums where it's like, within the first 2 or 3 songs, I just like, my mind is already blown, I think with Damn, that was like a DNA.
Yeah.
When I heard DNA for the first time, my mind was
yeah. But, so you've expressed before that there's shock value to it. Does that mind blowing like make the subsequent listens worse? Or
I would say the way I would phrase it is I won't say that the subsequent listens are worse. I think I would frame it in the reverse way, where it's like the shock value of it made the first experience that much better. And then the subsequent listens are like, okay, that's out of the way. Now, like, I'm just listening to it for what it is. I've already heard it. There's no surprises or anything like that. But I said that to say, like, anytime listening to a Kendrick Lamar album, the first time is, like, typically, like, not to say that I enjoy it the most, but that's typically, like, the most, like, impressive listen.
Okay.
Because it's, like, and that's not fair. That's not fair to him because I'm a little different when it comes to music. Like, I'm not a lyrics person at all. I enjoy good lyrics. I enjoy good wordplay, but it's like difficult for me to like grasp lyrics, especially on the first listen. Yeah. So I just pay attention to how it sounds. So I guess that probably plays to a factor into it because I don't like, because I know a lot of people who are like, they listen to an album and they're like digging in the lyrics, like going through, breaking it down.
I don't really like, so like I know a lot of people just have the lyrics up and read along. I don't really like that because it's like almost like spoilers,
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So I'll listen to it just ears and then go back and dig through the lyrics if I feel inclined to. But to what you said, like it's the shock value is like that's why I'm so jealous of all these people discovering it for the first time.
Exactly.
If I could do that, like I've loved every moment of listening to his music even after the first time. But like if I could feel that way again, you know
what it is. I'll put it on like a graph, a diagram, and I'll describe it for everybody who's listening at home. It's like you start off with like an IPO, right?
Okay.
Of a brand new stock.
Sure.
And it's like sky high the first day. Yeah. Everyone is like, oh my gosh, this crazy new stock just dropped. You know what I mean? Great. It takes a dip after the first day because all the hype goes down. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. Then it kind of like settles into where it is. Okay, people start to like not really pay attention to it. It gets underrated. Then starts to go up slowly and slowly and slowly. And then before you know it, it sneaks up on you. And then boom, it's like at a crazy value. Yeah. That's how I feel about Kendrick's albums. Like, To Pimp a Butterfly, to me, I listened to it the other day. I mean, I still get new stuff every time I listen to it. It gets better and better. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But that first listen will always, you know, hold a special place in my heart. So yeah, shout out to Mr.Morale and the Big Steppers as an album. That was
absolutely
pretty fire.
Yeah, go listen to it if you haven't yet. But yeah, I don't have Mr. Morale with me, but I have some of my Kendrick albums with me.
Ooh, the collection?
The collection.
What do we got here? What's that first one?
I got Untitled Unmastered.
Oh, jealous. I'm jealous already.
I have all the cases, but I like used to display them on my walls.
Can you show the camera?
Yeah, so they're in this like, you know, CD protector. I have Damn, the case is signed. I don't have it with me though. I didn't bring it for this, but it's just a bonus. This is the one you were just talking, To Pimp a Butterfly and Good Kid, Mad City is in here. If anyone can find me Section 80, I will love you forever.
Please.
And I'm trying to complete the collection, so also...
Do you have Overly Dedicated?
Overly Dedicated, I don't. Because those are so old that they're like impossible to find in store or anywhere. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Kendrick.
Shout out to Kenny.
He won that. He won that beef. Just saying.
We'll talk about it a little bit later. Yeah. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.